We're back now in the sandstone chamber again. We've been in here in a previous video, and the sandstone chamber, when you come down that staircase, leads on down through the gash, which is a narrow sandstone cut in the rock, and opens out eventually into the banqueting hall. The gash has originally been created many years ago, reasons unknown, by digging down from the surface when the ground level was much lower in Williamson's day. There was a slope on this land from Mason Street, where he built his house, down towards Smithdown Lane below. And over the years, it seems that Williamson has built up the ground to make it level, probably because he wanted to create nice gardens behind the houses he built. This is the best guess that we've got at the moment. The gash, I think, had been cut out of the raw sandstone when the ground level was lower and sloping, and it's been capped over on top by blocks of sandstone all along its length. And then the ground level has been built up at a later date. I'm looking now at a spot in the floor where the gash once came through the middle of this sandstone chamber, under that steel plate there, and then off there through a rather narrow and shallow cutting which goes at least another 30 metres, way out beyond the back fence of the Williamson land. We've got no idea why this has been created, but this in fact is the same width as the gash, about 18 inches wide where you enter it, and it appears to go flat all the way, and it appears to be about the same width all the way, although we can't be absolutely certain about that. A few people have been along it. Most of the ones that have ventured in there were cavers or potholers, people with virtually no fear at all. And when you get inside there, the ceiling level rises a little bit above what you can see there, and it goes like that for a few yards, and then it drops down again, and the only way to get along it is to crawl on hands and knees. I know for a fact that 25-30 yards on there is soil blocking it off, but we believe that it once went through at the back of the site and connected into the top layer of Joseph Williamson's triple-decker tunnel, which runs across at right angles to this piece of land, and in fact ran right across where the railway cutting now stands, across to the stable yard on the other side. When it was blocked, or why it's been blocked, I really couldn't say, but people have seen it from the other end way back around 2005, when they managed to get into the end of the great tunnel that lies below our land here. They only had access for a very short time, and then they had to bury it again and come away. It appears to be flat all the way, rock sides, and these slabs of stone lying across the top, exactly the same as the gash which runs through on the other side of this chamber down to the banqueting hall. We can't ever know, but the impression I get is that this cut in the rock existed first, or was created first, and then the sandstone chamber, for whatever reason, has been built over the top of it. There's looking to the left, and around the corner there you go down the gash, down to the banqueting hall. And on this side here is where we're going to go now. I'm going to attempt to crawl into there and see how far I get. It can get quite claustrophobic, likely to be pressed up against my shoulders all the way. I'm not sure whether it gets narrower or not, but we're going to have a go and see how far I get inside here and try and show you what it looks like. Right, I'm going to have a go, and I'm going to crawl in here, see how we get on. Got a light shining behind me, and I'm taking the light with me. just inside the entrance. And here we go. It's a level sandy floor below me, and we're looking at sandstone rock walls to the right and the left. And I don't know whether you can see, but a row of slabs over the top, created in exactly the same way as the gash on the other side of the sandstone chamber. This is a rather tricky crawl, holding the camera and a light. At the moment I'm upright on my hands and knees, and you can probably see we're reaching a point there where the ceiling appears to drop slightly, well, possibly as much as 12 inches. So I'm probably going to have to duck my head a bit further as I go on in here. There's a piece of stone on the floor in the middle there. Could have done without that. There's nowhere else for me to put it. I'm going to have to work my way around it. I hope this is coming out all right. Right, I've got past that rock. I'm still looking into the distance. Now, I've reached a point where the rock side walls are starting to go downhill. I'm still on the level, but not sure whether it's possible to see it. But the side walls now are beginning to be built up with brick, 2 bricks high at the moment. So the rock base of this area is obviously dropping down. As we knew it does. But they've continued this channel in a straight line. It feels to me as if we're completely on the flat. And not going downhill. If I was going downhill, I'd have an uphill crawl to go back. Now, at the side here, there's quite a substantial drop in the level of the stone walls. And the bricks are actually, I don't know how visible this is, the bricks are now going all the way from roof to floor. So this now continues at this spot with brick walls on both sides. And the same sandstone slabs on top. This is not too uncomfortable at the moment, but it's quite a long way to crawl on hands and knees, or rather with one hand, with the other hand holding a camera and a lamp. That's the tricky bit. And I've also got to crawl back out of here, backwards, still on hands and knees. I'm going to switch my head torch on and look into the distance. I can't see the end. I've got rock walls again with several layers of brick on top. And the rock surface seems to dip up and down in places along here. There's still a long way to go. And it still feels level. So I don't feel as if this has ever been created specifically as a watercourse. I think actually I've gone far enough under the circumstances. Because the crawl is getting harder really as I go on. So I think I'm going to call that it. I've given you a good look at what it looks like inside here. So I'm now going to switch the camera off and concentrate on crawling backwards to get out of here. I know there's a blockage, a fall or a deliberate blockage of soil further on. and people have been pretty much all the way up to that, which is possibly as far back as our back fence, 30 yards, 30 metres or so, but difficult to judge. So I'm going to call that it. So that's the inside of what we call the Caver's Squeeze.